Hey toy fans, Aaron here. This might not be the most exciting figure, but since my goal is to review all the toys I have in my collection, I'm gonna have to hit some of these once in a while. So today, taking a look at the 3 3/4 inch Mon Mothma figure. So let's head to the table and check this one out. First, a look at the packaging. She was released in 1998 on, as you see, the green Power of the Force 2 freeze frame card. So you got a nice image of Darth Vader in the upper left corner, the Star Wars Power of the Force logo. Through the blister, of course, as you expect, you see the included figure with a little baton accessory. And then off to the left side, you got that included freeze frame slide with a nice image of her standing next to General Madine on Home 1. On the back side of the card, you got your little cutout with that same scene that we just saw on the freeze frame slide, with a brief description about what's going on. Underneath that, you got some photos of other figures and beast assortments that were available, along with some text laying out some other figures that aren't shown in the photograph. And underneath that, you got the mail-away offer for Luke's macro binoculars, as he used in Empire Strikes Back. That's the little freeze frame slide viewer. And now looking at the figure out of the packaging, this one's really showing its age, both in terms of the way it's sculpted and even the looks of the plastic. As you can see by her arms in that dress, that mine has really started to yellow on me. But that upper part of the dress has still maintained some whiteness there. Otherwise, though, it's an okay looking figure, but like I said, the age of the sculpt itself is showing. I think we could definitely use an updated sculpt here on this figure. As far as the head sculpting goes, it's actually not bad. It is fairly representative of her as we saw her in the movie, so that's good there. And a pretty decent paint job to go along with it. The painting of the hairline is looking good. Eyes have a nice paint job to it. And you got a little bit of pink on the cheek area as well. So, as far as what they did with this figure for the time, I think that part is looking really nice. As for the top half of the figure, there's not a lot going on. She wore this big, long white dress or white gown or something. That's what you got here, just a lot of white with lots of little lines folded in, showing off those, folds of the dress. Around the neck area of the figure, you got the silver rope ties or whatever, kind of draped down from shoulder to shoulder. Painting looks great on that, actually. It really looks good there. And then in the middle, she's got this gold-colored necklace. Or actually, I should say that's part of that little shoulder tie thing also. Not bad painting to that. Probably a little extended past the mark here and there, but for the most part, it is looking pretty decent. As for the hand area, things are looking pretty decent here. Obviously, the white sleeves extending down. You got a little bit of that brown cloth showing that extended past her sleeves. And then, of course, the peach color for her hands. And just to get this off the turntable real quick, just to show this off, this little, I guess, overcoat or part of the dress or whatever you want to call it, it's loosely on there, loosely sculpted on. So you could pull that off if you want, and it just reveals the white dress underneath the figure. Otherwise, I'm just kind of having a hard time with the look of this plastic piece. If you kind of push it down, it makes it look a little better, but as it kind of relaxes a bit more, it gets very puffy looking. And then for the lower half of the figure, well, that white dress continues, and down around at the bottom, you can just kind of see a little bit of brown sticking out for her shoes. As for the articulation on the figure, the head is going to swivel all the way around. As for the arm articulation, without this little overdress thing on, they could go all the way around, but this does have some slits in it, and even with that, things are pretty restricted in a way. I mean, it just, as you can see, it really bunches this part up. Doesn't make her look flattering at all. The articulation's there. This part just doesn't look good, though, when you do it. And then you also got waist articulation, so you can spin the figure all the way around. That joint, if you didn't notice earlier, is right underneath this little outer dress robe thing here. As far as accessories, well, she just comes with this little white baton. We did not see her use one in the movie, although General Madine had his. But what we got here is just it's a baton. It's a white piece of plastic. You do have a couple little silver knobs or buttons or something painted on the one end of the baton, and then on the other end it just thins out. It actually just reminds me of the old school lightsabers that, you used to slide out of the hands of Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader and stuff. So overall, my thoughts on this is that it's really not that bad of a figure. It pretty much hits the mark for what they were doing for the figures at that time back in '98. But as you see it alongside some of these newer figures, such as Akbar and General Madine, you can certainly see that an updated sculpt is very warranted here. And also, one last thing on this, as I have her next to these other figures, this is a very short figure. In the movie, as you saw in the scene on the back of the card, just plop that back up here real quick, she's pretty much equal in height to General Madine. And in this case, for the figure that we've got lined up next to him, she's quite a bit shorter. And so that wraps up this look at Mon Mothma. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this figure in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.